All right, good afternoon. Sorry if I just started that video, you logged on and I closed it. My screen wasn't working. All right, welcome. Hope you all had a great day. We'll get started in a seat. So go ahead and grab a blanket pillow if you need to sit on, kind of prop those hips up a little bit, but otherwise, if the ground works, then you're fine there. So just close down those eyes, resting those palms on the knees, sitting tall. Let's just take a couple breaths here, just to kind of relax, come into this space, just letting everything go from the day, whether it's good or bad. Just let yourself be here. And taking that really big breath in through the nose, filling up those lungs, and then exhaling that breath out. Again, big, big breath in. And exhale. Just continue that on your own. Just really focus on that big expansion of the rib cage, filling those lungs, and then making that exhale just as long as that inhale. You can even bring a count to it, so maybe a 6-second count on that inhale, 6-second count on that exhale. And now we'll reach those fingertips out to the side, flipping those palms, reaching those arms up overhead, that big reach up. And then let's find that side stretch over to that right side, just gazing up underneath that arm as we lean over to the right. Left hip is grounded down. Inhale, let's bring it back up, go to the other side. So reaching that right arm up and over. And inhale, reach it back up. And we'll find that twist over to the right side. Sitting tall on that inhale. Exhale a little deeper, twist. Bring it back up. Let's go to that other side. Sit tall. And exhale, twist. Now bringing those hands to the knees. Okay, we're gonna lean it forward. Okay, so start to stretch through those hips. I would stagger those feet a little bit. Okay, so maybe even bring the feet kind of side by side instead of that foot crossed under. Lean it forward, press those knees down, and then we're gonna lean over to your left side, rounding that spine as we roll it on back. And then we're gonna come over to that right side. Again, you can kind of press that knee down as we lean, and then come around. Good. 2 more big, big circles. And once we get to the front, we're gonna pause. Good, then you can walk those hands forward, flattening out that back. Big stretch. Maybe not a big stretch, but definitely a stretch through the outer hips. It might be a big stretch, that's fine too. And then let's walk those hands back, switch that across the legs. So we want the opposite foot in front. So again, we'll start with those big side stretches. So reach the arms up again, find that gentle bend over to that right side. And inhale, we'll bring it back up. And we'll go to that other side, reach it up and over. And inhale, bring it back up. Let's twist it to that right side. Lengthen on the inhale. Exhale that deeper twist. Inhale, bring it back to center. And exhale it to the other side. Now bring it back to center. Bring those hands to the fronts of the knees. Again, lean it forward. Then we're gonna rock it over to, let's go to your right side first. Round that spine, roll it on back. And come forward. Again, pressing those knees down as we go to the other side. Good, last big circle around. We'll meet in the front. And then we'll start to walk those hands forward. Just pause. You can walk those hands as far as those hips are allowing, just finding that big stretch to the outer hip. And then we'll walk those hands back. Go ahead and roll over onto those hands and knees. And on that inhale, let's drop the belly. Lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, we'll round that spine, press the shoulder blades away, draw that belly up and in. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, round. And one more time. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale, round. Good. Inhale into neutral spine. We'll bring those toes together. Knees can come out a little bit wider. We'll send those hips back to the heels as we reach those arms forward. And then again, soften that chest down to the mat. And reconnecting with that breath. Okay, now let's lift up slightly. Let's walk those hands over to that right side of the mat. So big, long reach through that left arm, pressing those hips down and back. Let's come to center, and then we'll walk those hands over to the left side of the mat. Big reach through that right arm. And then walk it back to center. Come on to those hands and knees. Let's go ahead and step it back to a plank. Hold it here. Strong through that core. Spreading those fingers out, pressing into the palms, the fingertips. And one more big breath in. And exhale, send those hips up and back, down dog. Pedal those feet, sway those hips, whatever you need. And let's come onto the toes. Bend those knees, stepping those feet to the top of the mat. Half lift on that inhale. Exhale, slide those hands down as we fold. Inhale, bend into the knees, flatten out that back, rise up to standing, reaching those arms up. Again, let's interlace the fingers. Point those palms up towards the ceiling. Again, core tight, bend it to the right. Inhale it up, over to the left. Inhale, reach it back up. Let's interlace those fingers behind the back. Open up through that chest. And then we can keep those hands interlaced. If that's too much on the shoulders, you can always let them go. But we're just going to find that fold. And release those hands down. Plant them. Go and step it back to our plank. Shift the weight forward. Shoulders over those fingertips. You can lower those knees down as we lower onto our stomachs. Point the toes. We'll lift that chest up into that cobra, or maybe you press it up into that up dog. If the spine feels ready for it. And then exhale those hips back up. Down dog. Then let's come to the toes. Bend those knees. Step those feet top of the mat. Inhale that half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Interlace those fingers, palms up. Bend it to the right. Inhale it up to the left. Inhale, reach it up. And exhale, interlace those fingers. Open up that chest on the inhale. And then exhale, we'll fold. And go ahead and release those hands down. Plant the hands, stepping those feet back to plank. Lower down on the exhale. Inhale, we'll lift. And exhaling those hips to the sky. Down dog. Let's move through that one more time. Good. Inhale on the toes. Step or hop those feet top of the mat. Inhale the half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll rise. But interlace those fingers, palms up, soft bend over to the right. Inhale it up to the left. Inhale, reach it up. Hands behind the back, open the chest. Exhale, fold. Lengthen on the inhale. Exhale, we'll plant those hands, step it back to plank. Lower. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, let's just go ahead and send those hips back to that child's pose. So bring the knees a little bit wider, maybe even off the mat. Send those hips back and then soften that chest out. So a little bit wider through the knees gives you a little bit more stretch through those inner thighs. And then come back to those hands and knees. And let's step it back to a plank and down dog. Just come onto the toes. And we'll step those feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, we'll find that half lift. Exhale, fold. Walking those toes together to touch. We're gonna inhale, rise up. Exhale, sink those hips down into our chair. That core is tight. The knees are coming forward as those hips are sinking back. So it might be a little stretch through those ankles. And we'll bring the hands to heart center. We're gonna twist it over to that right side. So hooking that left tricep across that right thigh. Belly is tight, so we're not collapsing over those thighs, but keeping that chest lifted. Bring it back to center, and then we'll go over to the other side. So right tricep hooks over the left thigh. And bring it back to center. Reach those arms up and straighten the legs as we fold. And go ahead and find that half lift. Plant those hands, stepping those feet back to our plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhale, hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Feet together, inhale, that right leg lifts. Exhale, curl that knee to the nose, stepping that foot through. Let's ground that back heel down. Inhale those arms up, coming into our warrior one. So we want to press into that back heel, the outside edge of the foot, so the arches are lifted of both legs, but really focused on pressing into that left heel and flexing that quad. So we're nice and straight for that leg, getting that nice calf stretch. And then we can interlace those fingers behind the back, open up that chest, and then again, we'll fold it forward. So chest can hover, rib cage can come to that inner thigh, or that shoulder can come all the way to that knee. And then we'll release those hands, rise back up. Let's straighten that front leg. Again, keeping those hips square, reach it forward, lower the hands down to the shin, the ankle, or maybe all the way down towards the mat. Hips are level, so we don't want to be swaying off to one side. Think rotating that right hip back, left hip forward. Then rebend into that knee, reaching those arms back up into that warrior one. And then we'll lower those hands down to the mat. Go and send it back to our plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips to the sky. Downward facing dog. And now inhale that left leg up. Curl that knee to the nose, stepping that foot through. Back heel lowers. Then we'll inhale those arms up. Square those hips, rib cage folds down. Really big press into that back heel. Now we'll draw those arms down. Release the fingers, open it up, and exhale, fold. Release those arms, rise back up, straighten that front leg, and fold. Okay, now we'll rebend into that knee as we reach those arms back up into that warrior one. And then lower those hands down. Step it back to our plank with vinyasa. Exhaling those hips up, down dog. You can come onto the toes. Step or hop those feet, top of the mat. Toes together to touch. Inhale that half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, we'll rise. Exhale, sink those hips down into that chair. We'll bring those hands to heart center as we twist it over to that right side. Inhale, center. Exhale, over to that left side. Good, bring it back to center. Reach those arms up. Sink the hips a little lower. And then straighten those legs as we fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, plant those hands, stepping those feet, or you can even hop them if you like, back to our plank. And lower. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, feet together, reaching that right leg up. Curl that knee to the nose, step that foot through. Back heel lowers. Inhale the arms up. Good. Exhale. Interlace those fingers. Inhale, big lift to the chest. And then we'll fold it on that exhale. Inhale, release the hands as we rise up. Straighten that leg and fold. Good. Rebend into that knee. Rise back up. Now we're going to go into our standing split. So we're going to lower those hands down right in front of our right foot as we lift that left leg up nice and high, and then just fold over that leg. And maybe you walk your right hand back, grab onto the ankle. Maybe that left hand grabs onto the ankle. A lot of balance. And then we'll take a big step back into a warrior two. So we'll tee out the arms. Right knee stays pointing forward, same with the toes. Left toes are pointing towards that long edge of the mat as we tee out through those arms. Or tight. Sink into that front knee. Knee is stacked over that ankle. Rib cage pulls down. And we'll lower that forearm down as we reach that left arm up over our head. And inhale, we'll rise back up, straighten that front leg, reverse it, reaching that arm up and back. And then tee out the arms. Slight bend in that knee, reach it forward first, and then lower that hand down. Open up through the chest. So we're really reaching down through the right hand, reaching up through that left arm. Core is tight. Okay, so it's not super important that we have that finger down. We want to be open up through that chest. Let's circle that left hand down. Left heel spins up, twist. Right arm reaches up. And lower that hand down. Step it back to our plank, vinyasa. Exhaling those hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Again, bring those feet together. Inhale, left leg lifts. Curl that knee to the nose. Step that foot through. Back heel lowers. Inhaling those arms up. And then draw the arms down. Open up that chest. Exhale, fold. And release those arms, rise back up. We'll straighten that front leg into our pyramid. So reach it forward, lower those hands down wherever they may land, wherever you can keep that back relatively flat. And then we bend into that knee, reach those arms back up, coming back to our warrior one. Now from here, we're gonna lower those hands down to the mat, lifting that right leg up, coming into our half splits. Again, maybe you walk one hand back, maybe both hands reach back, grab onto that ankle. And take that big step back. We'll come into our warrior two. So again, feet are perpendicular to each other. Front heel is intersecting the arch of that right foot. Open up through that chest, reaching through those fingers. And I will lower that forearm down as we reach that right arm up over our head. Keep that core tight, rotating that chest open. And then inhale, we'll rise back up, straighten that front leg, reaching that palm up and back. Big side stretch. Then we'll reach out the arms. Just a slight bend in that front knee. Reach the hand forward first. Lower that hand down towards the ground. Open up, reach that right arm up. It's a really big wingspan. And then we'll circle that right hand down, spin that right heel up, and then we'll twist. Left arm is gonna reach up. Lower that hand down. Stepping it back to our plank. Lower. Inhale, lift. Then exhale those hips to the sky, downward facing dog. Now we're gonna make our way into that, let's actually do a squat first. Okay, so we're gonna step those feet a little bit wider. Okay, bring the toes out, knees out. Okay, heels are in just slightly. Sink those hips down, pressing those elbows into the knees. Okay, so I know I normally say use your feet and your glutes to press out. I do still want you doing that, but this is gonna give you just a little bit more. If you really press those knees, what am I trying to say? Press those elbows into your knees. Gives you a little bit more stretch through those inner thighs. Good. Now from here, now we're gonna lower onto our knees. Same kind of position that we were in that squat, okay? We want those knees super, super wide. Okay, the toes can be pointing towards each other or they can be pointing out, in opposite directions. I don't even know if you can see my feet. So it's up to you if you want to be in that full frog or that tadpole where the toes come in a little bit. Wherever you feel the better stretch or the stretch that fits for you. I know personally, like the full frog is such a big stretch that it's almost kind of miserable. So I like the happy medium where my toes are angled in. It's like a really, really wide child's pose. So if that's working for you, if you feel a really big stretch there, great. If you want more and you want to go into that frog pose with the toes pointing out in opposite directions, that is fine too. We're going to hold this for a few breaths. So find a position where you can, I wouldn't say sit comfortably, but you can kind of relax into this pretty intense stretch. A couple more breaths. And then slowly make your way out of it. And then we're going to come just right back into a downward facing dog. I got a little stuck. I don't know about you guys. That's a big one. And so take a couple breaths in that down dog. And then we'll go into our pigeon. So we're going to send our right knee towards our right wrist. Foot's coming across, sliding that left leg back as far as it wants to go, pointing those toes straight back, and then we can lower onto the forearm. So get a little bit more active, pressing that right shin down and pulling back. Left knee presses down and pulls forward. Right, and then once you're there, you can rest that head down. Think about keeping the weight in the midline of the mat instead of rolling off onto that right hip. So when we're a little bit more active in this stretch, I think it kind of prevents that when we're pulling that left knee forward. And then especially pulling that right shin back. Slowly make your way back to those hands. Let's send that leg back. We can come into a three-legged dog, maybe open up that hip, bending that top knee. And then we'll lower that foot down. Going to the other side, we're going to send that left knee to that left wrist. Foot comes across, sliding that right leg back. Point those toes. Lower on. Those elbows down. And then rest that head down. So we're pressing into that left shin, pulling back. Right knee presses down and pulls forward. And slowly come back to those hands. Stepping that leg back to that down dog or that three-legged dog, whichever you need. Another breath in down dog. Let's go ahead and come down to our backs. And so we'll hug, just hug those knees into the chest. Give it a gentle rock from side to side. Now we're going to keep that right knee hugged in. Left leg is going to extend out. Okay, we're going to reach for the outside edge of our right foot. So I got a little obstacle in the way so you can't see, but my knee is right outside my shoulder. I'm pulling that shoulder down, pulling that knee down. We're coming to that half happy baby. And then maybe you can pull that knee down and then extend that leg out a little bit more. So again, this is too aggressive. You can always bend it to, man, she's so, you can always bend into that left knee. Makes it a little bit softer stretch. All right, then go ahead and release that foot, that left hand. We'll just guide that knee across the body, finding that spinal twist. Big breath in. And exhale, soften into that twist. And then we'll bring it back to center. Let's switch sides. So hug that left knee in. Right leg is extending out. We'll grab onto the outside edge of that foot. Extend that leg. Then pull that knee down towards the mat. And maybe you can extend that leg out a little bit more. Couple more breaths. And then we'll go ahead and release that foot. Grab onto that knee and then just twist it across. That left arm reaches out long. And then bring that knee back to center. Go and plant both feet down. Bridging those hips up. So pressing into those heels, lifting the hips, extending out through those hip flexors. Then slowly lower those hips back down. Just gently windshield wipe those knees from right to the left. And now let's hold it over to that right side. If you want to cross that right ankle over that left knee, pull that knee down a little bit further. You have that option. And then we'll switch sides, drop the knees over to that left side. If you want to hook that left ankle over that right knee, a little deeper twist. And then bring that knee back to center. Hug both knees into the chest. Then go ahead and round that spine, bringing the forehead to the knees. We're going to extend those legs out, reaching those arms overhead, that full body stretch from the fingertips all the way down through those toes. Big inhale. And exhaling those arms out to the sides. Palms will face up. You can bring those arms out as wide as you like. Bring those legs maybe a little bit wider. Closing down those eyes. So completely relax and rest these next couple minutes. Begin to deepen your breath. So begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Reaching those arms overhead, that full body stretch from the fingertips down through those toes. And then we'll curl those knees in. Just gently roll it over onto that right side. Let's let that arm, the bicep, support your head. The other arm just comes across. Just pause here for a moment. And then press yourself up into that seat. This is how we started, sitting tall. Legs crossed, eyes remain closed. Just pausing for a few breaths. And taking that big breath in through the nose. And open the mouth side out. Blinking, open those eyes. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a great evening. We got power yoga, something like that. Yeah, abs. We got abs yoga tomorrow at 7 a.m. to hope to see you all there. Otherwise, have a great day. Have a great rest of your week.